Good afternoon, Charlotte golfers. Danny coming at you. Today we're going to continue our course tour of Tega Cay Golf Club, and we're going to start on the back nine where we left off. As always, be sure to give me a big thumbs up if you like the video, hit that notification bell, and hit the subscribe button. All of those things, let me know that you care. So with that said, let's jump on the back nine at Tega Cay. Make triple on 10 here. But the hole is going to play 393 from the back tee. I'm standing on the 373 yard tee. This is the white tee. And this is I don't know if it's a difficult hole, but you've really got to have good strategy here. Depending on how far you hit the golf ball, you want to be somewhere right around the 150 yard marker, somewhere between say 150 and 130, give or take. There are bunkers over here to the right, and the fairway ends right here, and there is a pond over there. So you've got to be very careful. Anything left of the 150 yard marker that is hooking left will typically go into that water hazard. So you want to hit straight at the 150 yard marker. And from here, you've got 150 yards. This hole is going to play a little downhill. It is over water. So that's what I was saying. You really need to work to try and keep the ball like right here to where we are. Over here to the left is where you can go into that hazard. But then you've got to pick the right club here. You know, it's typically about a half a club, I guess, downhill, give or take. The green's not very deep, but you've got to make sure that you cover that water. And if you do, this is what you'll be left with. This green at any given part is about 16 steps deep from front to back. So you just have to be precise on this shot. You don't want to be back here. You really don't. From the fairway, my thought has been in the past, you know, if I'm going to make a mistake, make it long. It's really hard to get the golf ball up and down from back here. However, if you're there in 2, you chip on in 3, you 2-putt for 5, at least you don't make 7. So here on number 11, this hole plays right at 300 yards, 320. I was just talking to the superintendent. He was saying that the greens for Club Championship weekend here were rolling 13.7. Holy cow. Anyway, got to hit the ball in the fairway. You know, 4 iron, 5 iron, 3 iron, something out there, and you'll have a little wedge. And then you see here, while they're spraying, I'm going to stay away, but nice big bunker. Your approach shot comes from back here in the fairway. You'll have like 80, 90 yards, give or take. Nice big green. Pretty straightforward hole. Gives you a good opportunity to breathe a little bit and maybe get a good score here. And then the par 3 here plays a little tricky, and not that it's a tricky hole, it's just so far downhill. I would say it's easily a club and a half, maybe even 2 downhill. It's 160 yards from back here. You just have to really gauge. If you've got a rangefinder with slope, that'll help a lot. But I usually take off about a club and a half, or I've been told by some of the members out here to take off about a club and a half. And then 13, I put a lot of focus. This hole is going to play under 400 yards from the white tee here, 364. But you got to be very careful. You got a big, deep bunker here to the left that you have to avoid. And then over here on the right, this fairway tends to slope to the right. So you've got to hit something up the left-hand side, avoid that bunker, but then catch left-hand side so the ball rolls right down into the fairway. So other than that, easy hole. And I wanted to shoot this so you can see, I'm looking back at the tee box, see this hill here. This is what kicks the ball down to the right, and all that slope sends the ball down here to the right. And you have to avoid all of this area down here. This goes down into no man's land. This is the dead zone. We don't want to be down here. So you really aim at that 150 marker. Anything between 150 and like 125, you're going to be good to go. Puppy's coming to visit. Hi, pup. I want to mention this. Fill your divots on the golf course. Do the superintendent a favor. We just put some sand right in there. Tap it down with our foot. And then while you're doing it, fill another. Smooth that out. If you do that, you're doing everybody a favor. You can see here he's using the whip, the pull on the greens to sweep the dew off. That's what makes those swirl marks that we saw earlier. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that before. Some golf courses do it, some don't. But from the 150 marker, this is what you're going to see. Not a lot of challenges here. You've got a bunker down here on the right. You have to avoid this bunker. It's not a tough up and down, fairly straightforward. It's not very deep. This green is about 37 steps deep. Gives you a great opportunity here. 4 is a good score on this hole. So this is 14. It's one of my favorite holes on the golf course. It's not an overly challenging hole, but it's a fun tee shot. And then I love the second shot in over the water. You can see it right behind me. It's only going to play about 350, but you got to be really careful not to hit in that bunker, and you want to try and hit something right there about 240 yards or so. Let's take a look at it. So just to provide a little perspective, there's the 100-yard marker, and here's how close the bunker is to that. So if you go back and you think about the tee shot and you look at that bunker, not far left of that is the 100-yard marker, and this is what you're going to have. That little pond here, we've got 100 yards in. This is a massive green, so you've got to be fairly accurate with this wedge shot. I don't know is that you really want to have, you don't want a 30-footer in here. And a correction, I was wrong. The lines on the green are not from that whip. They are using a different cutting technique here on the greens where they are mowing in circles, which would explain all of the circular patterns on the greens. But you can still see how good they are. I love watching those machines mow the grass. I could just sit there and watch it all day long. But anyway, that's very interesting. This green's there's not gonna be much to this. This green, like I said, the one key from back there in the fairway is you can see how big this green is. It's about 50 steps wide, right to left, and 37 steps deep. So you have to really pay attention on this shot. It's a lot of fun. This is a very fun hole. Like I said, it's kind of a break in between some of the more difficult holes on. And now we've got the last par 3. This is 200 yards from the back tee here. It's going to play about 175 from up at the white. Tendency, I think, for most players is to lose the ball out to the right because left is dead over here. There's a bunker that's in front of the green. I don't really know if that's in play, but you just really need to take enough club to get into the middle of the green. Fairly straightforward par 3, although there is some length to it. Most golfers are going to be hitting like 3, 4, or 5 iron into this hole. This green is, once again, it's really big. So if you're not close to the flag and you've got like a 40, 50 foot putt with as fast as the greens are right now, I think they're rolling like 11.5. It's going to be a very challenging 2-putt. Now we have the next 2 holes of the first par 5s since the 3rd hole. So we had number 1 was a par 5, number 3 is a par 5. Now we've got 16 and 17 are par 5. So this hole plays 480 from back here. You just need to really hit it down the middle here. It's not a lot of room. You've got to hit it to the right here. Some players will try and hit it up by that tree. There's no shot there. So down the middle with a little draw and you're set to go. Right down here is what you'll have. This is about 220 from the green. This is where I try and leave my second shot if I miss the green on that approach. I want to be somewhere. Hey guys, Future Danny coming at you here. I have to apologize here because for some reason my video got corrupted on 16 green. I don't know what happened, but I lost the footage of the 16th green, but I don't know what happened. Have to apologize. That brings us to number 17. It's a par 5. As you can see behind me, this hole presents a lot of challenges, and the first challenge is this tee shot, but then I'm going to show you the second shot. As you can see here, there's not a lot of room to hit it, and then the second shot, you really have to make a big decision. You almost have to hit driver off this tee, but you better hit it straight. And then here's the issue on this hole. The green sits back here. Here's the 200-yard marker, all right? It's very difficult to hit it into. You have to hit something at this left edge of that bunker and then cut it back up over these trees. not the easiest shot in the world from 200 yards. You've got to hit a very high 4-iron or a very high 3-iron or a very high hybrid or 5-wood or something, and then cut it. If you don't do that, then you just take a wedge and you just bump it down the fairway to where you have 100 yards. And here's a beautiful shot that shows the entirety of what you might have. If you lay up, then this is where you're going to be. You're going to have this shot right in here, which is about 80 yards to the middle of the green. If you tried to go for it and you hit that cut and you hit it too short or hit one of these trees, this is where you're going to be. Dead. So you really have to pick your strategy there and be very careful about it. And then here's the green on the par 5. It's not very big, as you can see. So if you were back behind on this line right here is where that 200-yard marker was, there's just not a lot of room. I mean, your best bet is hit it in the fairway, lay it up over here, knock it on the green. If you make 4, you make 4. If you don't, you make 5. And finally, 18. The hole from the back tee is going to play about 440 if you're back there on the back tee. This is 425 here on the white tee. Really, really solid finishing hole. It's going to demand that you hit the ball down the middle of the fairway. The fairway here is very narrow. The rough, I mean, you can almost see the rough cut line from here of how dense the rough is. I would say driving the golf ball straight and in the fairway here is premium. You do not want to be playing out of the rough. Once you hit the ball in the middle of the fairway, the challenge doesn't end there, because as you'll see in just a second, you've got something facing you on your second shot. Assuming we hit the fairway, you can see here how narrow this is. I mean, here's left-hand edge, there's right-hand edge. It is 18 steps wide. Got to hit in the fairway. We're at the 150. There's a massive pond. This is all carry over this water. Bunkers left, bunker long right, very big hill, very deep rough, very challenging second shot. Then parked up here on the hill, this gives you a bird's eye view of the challenge of this second shot. So we were just right back there. We had to hit our golf ball up in the air over this pond and hopefully boom right there beside the flag. This second shot here presents quite the challenge. If you hit it back here in these bunkers or you miss it back there on that hill, good luck, because this runs so fast back towards that water. Really, you're hoping that you hit the ball in the middle of the green, give yourself a 2-putt, and then that will end your round here at Tega Cay. But man, what a good finishing hole. So that's going to conclude the entire golf course tour at Tega Cay. We just finished up with the back 9. I hope you enjoyed it. Take a look at the golf course. You can get that tee time booked at charlottegolf.com. Remember, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and until the next video, my friends, hit them long and hit them straight.